You want to know how to use Delay by Zapier? This is the 2026 full guide. Open a new browser tab and go to zapier.com. Sign into your account and wait for the dashboard to load. Before we start building, make sure your Google account and Gmail are already connected in Zapier. That saves you from getting stuck mid-zap. Click Create in the top left corner, then Zaps. This opens the blank editor, and the first thing we need is the trigger. Click the trigger step, type Google Forms, and select it. Choose the trigger event New Form Response and hit Continue. Now pick your connected Google account, then select the existing form. I am using a form that captures name, email, company, and message fields. Click Continue, then Test Trigger. Zapier pulls in a sample submission, and you will see all the fields and their values right here. Use a recent response so the sample data is current. If the test response is empty, go submit the form once to populate it. Click Continue with selected record, and we are done with the trigger. Now the step most people get confused by, adding the delay. Click the plus icon underneath the trigger, search for delay, then select Delay by Zapier. The action event field opens, and you will see three options on screen right now: Delay For, Delay Until, and Delay After Queue. I want you to actually read these before we pick one because they solve completely different problems. Delay For pauses the Zap for a specific amount of time, minutes, hours, days. That is what we are using today. Delay Until waits until a particular date and time, like hold this email until June 15th at 9 a.m. Delay After Queue lines up multiple Zap runs and processes them one at a time with a controlled gap in between, which is great for avoiding rate limits. For follow-ups, I always use Delay For. Select that and click Continue. Now we configure the actual wait. The time delayed for field takes a number. Type 1. In the unit field next to it, pick day. That means a full 24 hours after the form is submitted, this Zap will wake up and move on. You can set it to minutes or hours too, but the maximum is 30 days, so plan your sequences accordingly. One trap here. If you turn the Zap off while a delayed run is waiting, that action never happens, the delay just expires silently, so leave the Zap on. Click Continue. Next, click the plus icon below the delay, search for Gmail, select it, and choose Send Email. Pick your Gmail account, click Continue. Now the email itself. In the To field, click into it and select the email field from the Google Forms step. You will see a pill that says something like Email from New Form Response. For the subject, type Following up on your request. In the body, I am going to map the name field right at the top, then type the rest. I will write high space, then insert the name pill from the trigger, then a comma and a line break. The rest of the message is, we are following up on the request you submitted through our form. We wanted to check if you have any additional questions or information you would like to provide. Please feel free to reply to this email if you need any assistance. Thank you, your company team. I am keeping it simple, but the key is that the name and email are mapped from the trigger, so every recipient gets a personalized message. Now we test the Gmail action. Click Test Step and wait for it to process. The test runs immediately, it does not wait the full day, so this is your only chance to confirm the mapping is correct before the automation goes live. Open the test recipient's inbox and find the email. Check three things. The recipient address is right, the name appears in the greeting, and the body formatting is clean. If anything is off, fix it now. Before we publish, let us name the Zap properly. Click the Zap name at the top and type Delayed Customer Follow-up. A descriptive name saves you when you have 20 Zaps and cannot remember which one is which. Now do a final scan. Google Forms trigger is set, the correct form is selected, the delay for step says 1 day, Gmail is connected, and the To field is mapped, and the test passed. Click Publish. Your delayed follow-up is now live. With the Zap running, there are a handful of things worth knowing that will save you a support ticket later. First, the difference between delay and schedule. Delay controls what happens after a Zap has already been triggered. In our Zap, the form submission triggers it immediately, then delay holds it for a day. If you need the trigger itself to fire on a schedule, say every Monday morning, that is schedule by Zapier, not delay. Opening a new Zap and picking schedule as the trigger would give you that recurrence. I have seen people put a delay step inside a scheduled Zap, and that works fine, but do not try to use delay to schedule the trigger itself. Second, monitoring delayed runs. Go to Zap History, and you will see runs sitting in a delayed status with a timer. When the delay expires, they continue to the next step. If you need to cancel a specific run, delete it from history while it is still delayed, and the email never sends. Turning the Zap off also stops pending delays, but it is more of a blunt instrument. Third, the three delay options we glanced at earlier. Delay For is your go-to for follow-ups and onboarding sequences. Use Delay Until when you have a date stored in the trigger data, say a webinar date, and you want the email to land exactly at that moment, not a set offset from the submission. That option lets you map a date field from the trigger right into the delay. Delay After Queue is for when you are pushing data into an app that chokes on simultaneous requests, like a CRM that does not handle concurrent updates well. Stack a Delay After Queue before that action and it processes the runs one by one. The last pro tip, delay steps do not count toward your task usage, so they are free. You can chain up to 30 days total across multiple delays, and combining a short delay with a longer one lets you build remarketing drips entirely inside a single Zap. Just remember that if a run is delayed and you need to amend the email copy, you will have to delete the pending runs and let them re-trigger. Worth knowing before you push a typo to 500 people. If this helped you get your delay workflow running, tap the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment saying this was helpful. Those comments are the main way other people find this exact guide.